very much again, Mr. Bo. Uh, there, there, I'm happy to say that we, having gone through the spring semester online, were very much better prepared come fall. We spent the summer training our faculty members and sensitizing our students to the online platform. And we're again happy to say thank you to our internet service providers, of which Cable Bahamas is a big part, that we had the bandwidth and we had been able to deliver a quality tech, virtual technology product come fall 2020. There are some things that we learned both from spring and from the summer of training. And the first is there are a lot of educational technologies out there and they are great. And what we found is that as soon as faculty and administrators get a hold of them, they get so excited that they cannot wait to implement every single one of them. However, what we've realized is we got to ensure that we're not just looking at the solution and then trying to find a problem to line up with it. We really have to identify what our immediate problems are and align the technology capabilities with those problems to match so that we don't get hung up on just implementing technology when really what we're trying to do is to create more access to our students. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which is a related, came up as a related issue, sometimes when we adopted a lot of these newer technologies, we found that they weren't necessarily compatible with the tools that our teachers and students had. And we found that instead of broadening the access, we were actually limiting by not focusing on the bare essentials and not getting feedback from our, I want to say customer base, because I think that's a term that everyone understands here. And so that's one thing that we've tried to be more cognizant of this time around, ensuring that any of the technologies and the strategies that we use match the technology that's in the hands of our students and our teachers. The third thing, though, is we've really had to focus on every step of implementation. The training was great. Teachers went in on day one and they felt confident and they started to implement some of the strategies that they had learned all the way up until something went wrong. And then we realized that training and professional development and support is a continual process, and it cannot be just done once and pass the people the manual and let them swim or sink. What we need to do is to be sure that we're there at every stage to shepherd them into this new learning environment. And then the fourth thing is something that was touched upon by Director Roll, and that is providing emotional support for both our teachers and students. We have to remember that in addition to all that's going on around us in the community with regard to COVID, both our teachers and our students are being taken from positions of doing something that they've done all their lives and have become expert in, and being transferred into novices in an entirely new environment. And we got to understand the kind of emotional turmoil that can create, because we have the same performance expectations for them, but they're not in the same positions of expertise to deliver that they may have been in before. So we have to remember that we got to support them not only through training and implementation support, but we also have to be able to support them emotionally as they go through these changes. And then the last thing, what we've realized is the internet is a mass of teaching resources, and not just the technology, but the actual content. And so it's forced us to ask ourselves, if the content is already being delivered via the internet, what actually is the role of the instructor and of the teacher in the classroom? Is it to deliver that content? Well, you know, there are experts around the world who probably know my own area of expertise way better than I am. But what they don't know is they don't know Yvonne, they don't know Lovato, they don't know Petra, who are in my class. And so my responsibility as a teacher is not just to deliver that content, but to deliver it to that particular student, to be able to individualize that instruction and to support that student in that classroom interaction. So those are some of the 5 lessons that we've tried to now implement as we go along. But I'll let you know that it's a continual learning process, and I'm sure that if we come back again in 2 weeks' time, there'll be 5 more things that we have learned after having done this again for the first month of the 4th semester.